Hey, um, so I started doing a series on Thibault and trying to do all the circles and show them all. That's been a bit of a fucking nightmare. uh, this has been a nightmare because this book is so dense. You're dealing with an entire person's life work in a single text, and there aren't any other authors who did that this honestly to this depth. Some of the Distressa texts give the air that to this depth, but I don't know. When I look at them, it's not the same. You're dealing with someone who could be easily compared with John Danaher 400 years before he existed. That's kind of cool. To me, anyway. And to keep doing those videos with me still feeling like there are traits of this that I'm still figuring out on the daily. Every second week, I go to those around me that I train with. I'm like, hey, here's this whole new thing. And it's not, oh, this is how to do this guard. It's uncomfortably profound fundamental differences that I jokingly get bullied for coming to the same conclusions that you hear so many coaches say, but now it's real, and the people around me are like, I've heard people say that, I've read people who say that, and then you watch them compete or you watch them free fence and it's like, they are not doing that. What the fuck? You're not real. It's fake. You're fake. And I'm saying the same words now, almost angrily, that it's like, I'm saying the same thing that these dickheads have said is correct. And then it's real, and I explain it to someone, like, oh, that's fucked. That's real. I didn't know you could do that. And then doing it, then applying it to our fencing, watching my friends just improve out of sight every couple of weeks is just uncomfortable. I feel like I keep rewriting my whole fencing from the ground up with massive changes, and my coaching has improved so much because of this. And I feel like the task of, here we go, we'll just play out all the plates, feels a little dishonest at this stage. I feel dishonest to show such a thing. I feel fake to try and allude that I could. Here I am in my third year of, look at this book. I don't know if it'll focus, it doesn't matter. Here's every image in the book. Oh my god, it'll focus or not. I think I said it doesn't matter. And here's every chapter. And here's all the chapters of the second book in it. And where's an example of my fucking schizophrenic notes? This chapter in particular is so fun to me. Chapter 28 on unnatural postures, because it's just so what I deal with the most. So I've gone through it a bunch of times. It's like all the fucking notes and underlines that probably won't show properly on camera. And then you look at all my little notes and rulered fucking highlights, and half these notes are like notes upon notes because I've been able to figure out how to say them better. And it's quite intense. And every circle starts having like notes written around each thing, and I'm still not done. And my cover fell off and I connected it back with yellow electrical tape because it's all I had on hand to fix my fucking book. And it's got all these notes in it from going and seeing an original, where the scans in this are fine until you realize what parts it doesn't show well. So going and seeing the original and then taking notes and then comparing each one, and like, it's not like, oh, compare them and I'll figure out the differences. No, it's like I had to keep coming up with hypotheses of like, okay, this is a data point that I can't see very well in there. Is it better in the original? Cool. And then spending hours toming through this original that makes this book look like a pocket-sized fucking pamphlet. And then taking that data and going like, cool, I need to check. And I look at it in this, I'm like, cool, I need to check this, circling them all. Then comparing it to the actual book, then taking the, like, what I can see in the actual book and comparing it to that. I could probably do it with the scans that you can find, the Library of Paris or whatever, like the French scans that exist. They're pretty fucking good. I haven't spent much time looking at them because I don't like looking at scans. Like, these are fine until I like just book in 2 days ahead of time and go look at an original, because like I can, and that's cool. And it's like a hungover walk on a Saturday morning. It's just so much. This book is so much, and I don't think it'll kill me. I don't think it'll break me. I have had meltdowns because of it. I have had my brain just stop functioning because of this fucking book. The first couple of reads, it would take nearly a month to go through each fucking chapter, or maybe like 4 weeks, or like 3 weeks, or 2 weeks. Like, some chapters you can just read like 2 in a row and it kind of flows in pretty well, and then sometimes you read a chapter and you don't want to look at this fucking thing for 6 weeks. You're just mad on like how much you have to work on and you feel like overloaded. I have 5 to 8 major fundamental changes that I constantly do not see anyone outside of my closest circle even want to admit exists. And I have 5 to 8 of these massive changes that I'm working on at all times. And it's so much. So then doing videos on each plate doesn't feel honest, because I'm still figuring this out. I love my fencing at the moment. I love my fencing how it was 6 months ago. The version of me that has happened in the last 2 weeks could clown the living fuck out of who I was in January. I'm like rusty as shit because I haven't been able to fence properly since the Friendfect competition. Mostly because I was like just kind of trash and everyone was kind of beat up. It's not the middle of winter. Is it the middle of winter? I don't even know. It's winter in Australia and in Melbourne, and it's been shit. Getting people to just train has sucked. Everyone's beat to shit. It's rough. It's cold. Cold and nasty. And I've got a pretty substantial back tattoo that like we're trying to get through as fast as possible. So every time I work on that, I've got another 4 to 7 days that I can't properly train. And then I've got some health things that you don't need to worry about or know about, but they're pretty substantial. And it's all kind of gotten in the way of itself, which is amazing. But I've let it get in the way of itself because, yeah, it's a lot. It's so much. So before I continue with those, grabbing someone, hey, here's what we're doing, we're just going to record, doing what it says in the book or in the circle, I'm just going to read out a chapter. And I'm going to work on it how I've been working on it. Now, some chapters I've already done this to, so I'll probably just read through my notes as well and make new notes, and then just kind of break and pause at times to discuss how I've been approaching some of this stuff, if I've been approaching it, and maybe even hilariously get some recordings of me going like, oh, fuck this. I'm not gonna put the book up on the screen unless I really fucking have to. I'm just going to refer to it with the assumption that you may have the book in front of you. If you can't afford this book, I know it's kind of fucking expensive to buy now. If this wasn't such a fundamental part of my existence, I wouldn't buy it. So I suggest finding the scans of it. I think there's one library in the States that has decent scans. Also, there's a French museum that has scanned it beautifully. Anything that I'm talking about, you may hear my cat chirp. She's in here with me. Anything that I'm talking about, you're going to be able to just at least look at the scans of the circles of the plates, of the printings, the funny pictures, and be able to follow along without too much stress. If you have Greer's translation on hand, go for it. Have that on hand. So sorry, I'm just not gonna edit these. Not that I've edited any of my videos. One that is just too much for me. I don't want this getting in the way of what I'm doing. I have enough things in my goddamn way. So yeah. I'll be kicking this off with starting with chapter 5, mostly because it's where the fencing begins and it's where I'm up to with my let's do the plays videos. I can go back over the other chapters when I feel like it one day. I don't feel like it right now. I'm doing this mostly for me, but also for the few people who do want to experience going through this. A lot of the stuff they'll be drawing from is a very wide breadth of fencing theory, predominantly from the Italian lineage, but also traits of French, traits of Scottish, traits of all the Anglo fencing that was either good or sucked. I'm not saying that I'm going to frog DNA and like, well, this is how this style does it, because I think that is for losers and people who just want to fight over styles, and this is how this author does it compared to this, and like they're fighting about it. I think that's really fucking cringe. I'm gonna use terminology from just all over the fucking shop in fencing because I'm a bit brain bled from having read so much. But this whole like comparing it in weird ways and just like getting caught in weeds is irrelevant to me. So I'm going to use a lot of Italian terminology because that is especially Fabrus's way of wording it feels the most like conducive to getting the point across. My goal is for you as the listener while I go through this to hopefully have more understanding than if you read it just on your own. My only goal is for it to be understood, not to bamboozle you with words, and not to leave you wanting, like, oh, well, can you explain this, in a very masturbatory way. So hopefully that explains where I'm going with this. I'm going to leave it on one thing. When you meet people and tell them what hobby you do, tell them that you do historical fencing, not HEMA. When you say HEMA, they go, oh, what is that? And then they go and lose the next 45 minutes of the house party they came to do ketamine at, not have you talk at them. If you say historical fencing, they have a vague idea, and they either ask more, which then you give a bland, I don't know, imagine playing basketball but only to the 1920s rules. And then they ask further, or they go, oh, cool, I have an idea of what you do, and now I'm gonna go do the ketamine I was gonna do. Bye. I take the same approach to all the principles and all the ideas in this. I want you to know what's going on with the least amount of words and the least amount of masturbatory talking at you. And I think it's incredibly funny to say that after 17 minutes and 25 seconds of this video.